consciousness or integrated by a spheric entity in the all. All that is needed now is 144,000 beings to be integrated as one awareness of awareness unit in creation. That is a natural state. Each individual still maintains the unique nature, which is the sum total of its combined experiences, its basic differentiated identity as a spiritual entity, aware of its immortality despite the use of an organic genetic entity, the body. You must breed the reptilian out of your genes, and this will take 1,000 years, called the millennium. Their aim is to help you help yourselves by bringing humans to their full potential. If this cannot be done here, the Anunnaki will reap the smaller harvest of human souls and relocate them for advanced training or advanced schooling to the Crystal City, or in the event of a natural disaster. The smaller harvest is referring to the 144,000 that is mentioned in Revelation 14. The time is now. The beer is right there, people. Humans tend to make a savior or Satan's figures out of extraterrestrials or extra density beings. In so doing, they hope to negate responsibility for their misdeeds by appointing scapegoats. It is a self-defeating strategy. Awaiting a savior to come from the skies is a recipe for disaster. God consciousness, or the first stage of being in the all, is started at the 4th density up to the 9th density, is awe-inspiring to humans of the 3rd density. It is far more demanding to develop the full spectrum of awareness. It is up to individuals to create their destiny. Holy Tablets, chapter 13, entitled The Illuminous, informs us, Lo, O you who are faithful, concealers, heed not to the right knowledge, though you spend effortless hours in their behalf. Our Father has placed a seal on the doors to the 3 most needed perceptions, they being inner hearing, inner seeing, and inner understanding. Their hearts are plagued with a disease, and it grows moment by moment by the command of Anu Alun Alun El, wandering Bedouin in a desert at high noon with no water, blinding from the light of the greatest sun. O you who are faithful, it is expedient on you that you share the things given to you in this planet Earth, coming in having nothing but hopes, and that you make Salat worship 7 but not less than 3 periods every 23 hours, 56 minutes and 6 seconds, and that you restrain by waiting for the appearance of the sun to its disappearance in the appointed time in the lunar logging, calling towards Ramadan, hot months, for 30 days, remembering the undeprived in the planet Earth. And if for health reasons you are unable, then offer freely provisions for 60 beings, And if given the strength before you leave this state, that you visit the navel of this planet Earth, where once the tree in the midst of the garden of delight did stand. And this is how this event should be commemorated while in the school of Mohammedism. The purpose of fasting: for spiritual preparation for a sacred meal, preparation to induce spiritual impressions or visions, and provide vitality during the times of human and natural infertility. The great wisdom of fasting is the protection of the soul and its education. It is also to keep away the passions and evil ways, so the soul and body will be always with Allah. Every negative passion should be dead in a great month of Ramadan. In fasting, the person feels hunger every day. This hunger should give one compassion for those who must deal with it every day. During the month of Ramadan, one has the chance to burn out desires, as one of the objects of the fast is to generate power in the self and guard against disagreeable. It is said that one who fasts during the day should not spoil the benefits of his fast in the shadow hours when the fast is not in effect. Fasting is mandatory on all males, females, and the children aged 13 and over. Exceptions are made in cases of those who are sick or insane, or those who are traveling in the desert. The beginning of the fast is started by reciting Nawaitu Anusawma Yawma Ghaddan min Shahri Ramadan Ta'atana Laka Fataqabbalahu Minni Ya Allah Innaka Anta El Sami'u El Alim. I make intentions that I fast the month of Ramadan obligatory to you. So accept from me, O Allah, surely you are the hearer, the knower. The breaking of the fast is made official by reciting Allahumma sumna wa ala rizqika aftarna fataqabbal minna innaka anta el sami'u el alim. O Allah, for thee did we fast, for thee did we keep the fast, and upon thy provision have we broken it. So accept it from us. Surely you are the hearer and knower. Allahumma inni sumtu laka alayka wa aftartu bi khayrika innaka anta al-ghafur al-rahim. O Allah, surely I have fasted for you, and I have made firm resolution on you, and I have broken my fast by your goodness. Surely you are the forgiving, the merciful. Following the dua are the intake of 3 dates and a glass of water. If dates are not available, water is sufficient to break the fast. During the shadow hours of the month of Ramadan, Salat el-Tarawih, the resting prayer, el-Rahui Taful, is performed. In it, the congregation sits and rests. Every fourth rak'at is completed, and every second salutation is completed, is performed. You are to recite from the holy tablets. Afterwards, the congregation breaks up into groups as they speak on such things as law. The complete shadow hour is spent in the remembrance of the constant blessings of Allah who subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed on us. At the commencement of the fast of Ramadan, the fast is broken by what is called Eid al-Fitr, simply breaking, or festival of the breaking, meaning the fast. Gifts are exchanged. There are festivals of music and dance. Everyone is dressed up. And a tithing of 1/10 of your yearly earnings is given as a free will offering to the central tabernacle. Let me speak to you of the 7 folds or parts of your physical earthly form. You may be regarded as physical bodies that, having a sister part under nature's laws. I see you are looking deeply into this knowledge, for it comes to you from my own self indeed to help guide you to a better understanding of the 7-fold you: discipline, faith, sacrifice, firmness, patience, forgiveness, peace. Each star has its own light. The first is the spiritual self, ether. The second is the life self, living. The third is the spiritual man, soul. There are 7 galactic heavens in each of you. The best is the brightest seed of all. The Master placed it there that you may keep it pure. The sun at your solar plex is your true inner light. Before we, 4 wise scientists, Ninti, Inki, Nergal, and a Rizqigal, his wife, bred you, the children of the Anunnaki, were initially bred to be what is called Lulu Amilu, primitive worker. We worked on breeding the genus Homo, who were the descendants of the Tahites, or descendants of Ta, the father of Nakebo. Her seed evolved from water beings, and they were bred with the Shagis from one of the planets in the 6th star or sun constellation known as Kesiel, Orion, which produced Homo erectus, a species that stood up straight and erect. In these beings, we placed a clot, seed of procreation, water, carbon, and clay, to form your shell, your body. For the spirit is of you, it belongs thus, and unto us it will return. It is the best part of you, the light shining in the darkness, yet you comprehend it not. Your inner light seat at your solar plexus, the soul having 7 dimensions in you. Your soul is held in your body by the electrons and nervous system. It was made by the magnetic bind of mud and spirit. It is the magnetic force field that keeps all atoms and cells together. Tied, confined. The soul is forever waiting to return to the Anunnaki, the Elohim. Our word. Our word was in existence long before yours was a thought. We the Anunnaki Elohim lived in peace, but by his merciful love, Anu created another being, Inki, to share his grace. All the stars, Malaikat, Yah Sarufat, Weh Garubat, the galactic brotherhood of the galactic heavens, was created by him, Anu, in the light of the heavenly hosts called Ra, the Anunnaki. They had 360 degrees of knowledge of the physical realm, as opposed to 360 degrees of darkness of the spiritual realm. Yet, in our likeness, was one destined to fall. Even you mortals, being one time in our likeness as Theoris in the galactic heavens, the faller Iblis, Halo, sent his hosts, the Rizqians, to dwell in the void and darkness upon the face of the waters. The Rizqians set up continents on Thi before mortals were cloned. As previously recorded in chapter 2 of the Holy Tablets, tablet 4, verse 59 through 65, I, Ninti, have created. My hands have made it. The first Adam, not Adam Zakar. Now enough clay was prepared to start pregnancies in the 14 birth Anunnaki at a time. Ninti knit off 14 pieces of clay. 7 she deposited on the right, 7 she deposited on the left. Between them she placed the mold. Now the procedures were genetically engineered to come up with 7 males and 7 females at a time. The wise and learned, the double 7, the birth Anunnaki assembled. 7 brought forth males, 7 brought forth females. The female Anunnakis brought forth the wind of breath of life. The creation of Lulu Amalu, primitive worker, the Homo sapien, came about through a feat of genetic engineering and embryo transplant techniques. Yet, unborn lesser lights, Garubad, disagreeable spiritual beings, dwell in the darkness of the planet Earth. Then we called forth and made known that we were to create a mortal being, Kadmon, of carbon and water, by fashioning him, Kadmon, into shape and placing our spirit, the spirit of the Anunnaki, as it says in Holy Quran, the 54th degree, the 28th verse, that has been changed to the 15th. So when I, Yahweh of the Elohim, Sawaituhu, made him Adam a perfect mortal, and I, Nafakha, blew of my ruh into him, he was part Elohim. So you Elohim are to fall down Sajidin, prostrating in respect to him, giving Kadmon life. And at that time, they were commanded to prostrate before him, as it says in the 54th degree, the 29th verse that has been changed to the 15th degree. And when your Rab, master, said to the messengers, Elohim Anunnaki, surely I, Enki, am about to khaliqun, create a bashar, mortal being in skin from Hamite, black substance, masnoon, molded into shape by cloning. Yet we keep the 4 winds 4 angels to keep the planet in order before the Yamum the sea. Blow in your place 4 crafts at 4 strategic places called the 4 angels of the 4 corners of the planet Earth. Oh, how I rejoice being in such joy. North, south, east was I, and west the other. He, Tammuz, was assigned to protect the Dragos under the water of the planet. He headed a fleet referred to as the Theoris, having both lungs and gills. He was of the Dragos, being the son of Ishtar, and Dumuzi, son of Enki. Tammuz was the original writer of the text of Genesis. Let's pause here for a moment to visit Genesis 1:1 in El's Holy Torah, entitled The Birth of a New Tribe of Adamites. And it states, during the Bara procreation period of the planet Earth, these Elohim Anunnaki reconstructed 2 places up there in the skies where there was water. In this quote, the word beginning, which in the Aramaic Hebrew is Reshith, means the first time of something. So when it says in the beginning, God created, it is falsely mistranslated. They use create, but in Aramaic Hebrew, where they have create, there is the word bara, which means to recreate, to procreate, or simply the making or reconstruction. The procreation period, bara, is not the same as khalaqa for creation or the creation period, which is found in Ashuric, Syriac, Arabic as khalaqa, meaning to create. The same as in Hebrew, khalaqa, simply because it wasn't the first time. Bara is the word used in Genesis 1:2 in reference to the reconstruction period of Tammuz or Tiamat after it became Tohu, empty, and Bohu, desolate, as Jeremiah 4:23 through 28, which was removed, makes clear. Bara also means the maker, from which they get the 12th attributes, El Bari, meaning the maker, which is found in El's Holy Quran 87:54 as your maker, Barikum. This same word as bara in Genesis 1:1, or this is the same word as bara in Genesis 1:1. So you see, they played word games. Thus, the creation story that was conveyed to you in Genesis chapter 1 is not the original creation story, but a recreation or reconstruction, which is bara, meaning to procreate, not khalaqa, to create. Most people were never told that the 6 verses of the book of Jeremiah 4:23 through 28 was intentionally taken out of Genesis 1:1. I will now insert it back into its proper place. You be the judge. I saw the planet Earth, and hinne, lo, it was tohu, empty, and bohu, desolate. And the Shaumayim, the heavenly skies, and yin, they had no ore, light. I saw the Har mountains, and lo, the Rawash trembled, and all the Ribau hills qawlal moved lightly. I looked, and lo, there was no Audam, Adamite, earthling, and all the Ophe fowls of the Shah of the Shalmahim, heavenly skies, were now that gone. I looked and lo, the land of Kadmon Carmel, fruitful garden, was a midbour wilderness, and all the ear cities of it were now thats broken down, and the Phaonim, presence of a Yahweh, and by his fierce anger. For thus has a Yahweh said, Kole, the whole Eretz, planet Earth, will be Shem Au Mau, desolate, and I will make a total Kaulau end. For this reason will the Eretz, planet Earth, Aubal, moon, and the Shao Mahim, heavenly skies, Mahal above, be Kaudar black, because I have Daubar spoken it. I have Zaumam planned it, and will not be Nauham sorry, neither will I Shub turn back from this decision. Now let us return to where we left off in Holy Tablets chapter 6, tablet 1338. And it states, Tammuz is the original writer of the text of Genesis. Else Holy Torah, Genesis 1:2 states, and the planet Earth, also called Tiamat, was Tohu, empty, and Bohu, desolate, and no sunlight shined through the dust clouds onto the surface of Tiamat's waters for 6,000 years, which was created by the great meteorite that hit the planet Earth, and the wind of the Elohim ship called Nibiru hovered upon the surface of the water and blew and moved the dust clouds that blocked the sun. Else Holy Torah, page 6, explains this by saying, in the first day of creation, when the Elohim asked for the light to exist, the sun was already created prior to that 93 billion years ago. There was a black dust cloud which encircled around the earth, which did not allow the sun's light to penetrate into the earth. So, in Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 16, when it speaks about the sun light shining forth, and it mentioned the creation of the sun, moon, and stars, meaning that now they were able to see the skies because the black dust cloud caused by the meteorite that hit the earth 2,250,000 years ago was moved, according to Genesis 1:2. Now going back to Holy Tablets, it continues. The King James Version, 1611 of the Bible, in Genesis 1:2 states, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Deep is making reference to water, and the Aramaic Hebrew word fanim means surface. Again, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the water. The being that is writing this is beneath the waters to see the craft of the Elohim moving above the surface of the water. And then it makes reference to what he heard the Elohim say in chapter 1, verses 3 and 4 of As Holy Torah. And these beings pleaded and said to the Most High, let exist, Ore, light. And light existed. And the Elohim Anunnaki saw how to obey, agreeable. The condition will be light, with light again. So they thou Baal separated the light from the Hosha, darkness. The King James Version of the Bible in Genesis 1, 3 and 4 states, and God said, let there be light, and there was light, and God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. Deity said, let there be light. And he says, and God saw that the light was good. This individual is talking about the Elohim and what they were doing. He also talks about when they first came or first arrived here in verse 2. And the condition of the planet and the discussion that the Elohim are having about what they plan to do here. When he gets to chapter 1, verse 27 of El's Holy Torah, he says, and the Elohim Anunnaki Nudimud on Inki Israel, the one appointed for the breeding, appointed Elohim Anunnaki Ninti for procreating people. Homo sapien of Ha-Adamah, the Adamites, from Homo erectus to Sehlem, look like herself, using her own divine seed, Ninti, and acting like herself. And the Elohim Anunnaki Bara procreated them into one they called Adam, Kadmon, and Eve, Nakaiba, one. This is how she, Ninti, Bara, procreated Athum, them, of her own seed. As Holy Torah on page 17 explain this. Adam was the fifth Adam, the fifth replenishing, or the first of a new set of 4 cycles. He was told to Fau Rao, breed, and Rao Bao, multiply, and Maulay, refill Tamtu, also called Tiamat, or the planet Earth, which is after the meteorite hit the planet Earth 2,250,000 years ago, which made Tamtu, the planet Earth, Bohu, empty, and Tohu, desolate, according to Genesis 1 and 2. Apsu and Tiamat were the first Adam from the first moon cycle, or the silver cycle. The second Adam was Lahmu and Lahamu. They came from the first sun cycle. The third Adam were Anshar and Kishar. They came from the second moon or silver cycle. The fourth Adam was Anu and Antum. They came from the second moon cycle. Now going back to Holy Tablets, we continue. The King James Version of the Bible in Genesis 1:20.